Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hi everybody.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're podcasting.
Big podcast
Yeah.
energy.
My name is David Bell.
I'm Tom Ryman.
And we just watched Ed Asner.
We just watched Brad Astronaut.
I recall how we used to watch black and white movies together, and musicals were your favorite. I remember you tutoring me in math. You instilled in me a strong work ethic. You should know I've chosen a career that you would approve of. I've dedicated my life to the exploration of space. And I thank you for that.
Holy shit, Tom.
Brad Astronaut.
Brad Astronaut. So this movie has really high critic review. Not really high, like 8 in the 80s. Really low audience.
That's pretty high.
Pretty high. Really low audience, like in the 40s.
I can see why.
Yeah. What did you think of this movie?
I sort of loved this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if we loved it for the same reason. I also loved this movie because I thought it was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you love this movie?
I thought it was, all the shots were gorgeous. I liked how it's a movie about space and like the world and shit, but it still makes, like, every shot makes Brad Pitt so isolated.
Yes. I agree with all that.
I liked that it was a relatively simple story. It's a real intense drama.
Yeah, it's a real intense drama about father and son. It's the director of, I think, Lost City of Z, We Own the Night. It's an intense drama about father and son and duty and isolation and humanity, and also a movie wherein a man gets mauled to death by a baboon. Yes, this is where I was going to get to. This movie, to me, it felt like if they had made 2001 and then they were flooded with studio notes and did all the studio notes too, because this movie is everything you said plus a bunch of really dumb things that made me laugh really hard in the theater.
Yeah.
Like, let's start with the space antenna, because it starts with Brad Pitt climbing a space antenna.
Yeah.
What is that? Like, if you're communicating, like, the size of an antenna, is that really gonna, like, they could barely talk to, how is that working? How is that space antenna working? I'm very confused.
Don't know. Also don't know how they built it.
Yeah. And
how the hell do you build a standing structure that reaches the upper atmosphere?
Yeah, and how does that function in the weather? And, like, I don't think, maybe someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the way technology works is that, like, if you need to communicate farther, you have to make a bigger antenna like that. Like, we don't use antennas, do we?
We use
like satellites and shit.
Satellites,
like, wouldn't we relay through satellites
radar
or
arrays
something
and
like
stuff?
that?
I don't know, man. Some of those, you've seen SETI, right? Those dishes are huge.
Yeah, that's true. Bigger might be better. It was immediately silly. And I mean, I liked it. I had fun watching him fucking fall down that antenna. But
yeah, that's pretty sweet.
There was a lot of weird actiony things. I mean,
yeah, it's I get it.
The plot of the film is that they need to get Brad Pitt to Mars to send a message. And immediately I was like, wait, do you need to go to Mars to do that? You have a giant antenna.
Well, you remember why he falls off the antennas, because the first power surge from Tommy Lee Jones' spaceship hits them and wipes out most of the power on Earth.
Okay, so the idea is they have to go to Mars because...
Yeah, because of the underground facility didn't get affected.
That's fair.
Yep.
I'll cross that off my list.
I sort of understood the random, like, I mean, obviously the action is almost certainly a studio note because for like 80% of the movie I'm just sitting there like, this is 2001.
It's the part where he takes the commercial flight to the moon felt like the same scene from 2001 but sped up because they were like, nah, audiences will get bored, speed it up. And that, I feel like that's kind of symbolizes the whole movie to me, which is that they're trying to tell a profound and good story, and I feel like some producer was like, throw in some monkeys. Like,
yeah,
get some moon pirates in there, and it's like, why would there be moon pirates? Doesn't matter, put them in there.
It says they're fighting over resources. I got that because
okay,
like,
they got to the moon though.
Yeah,
like, they show it's expensive. Like, the blanket costs a bunch of money.
Costs him the pillow blanket pack costs him $125.
Who's going to the moon to fight for resources?
Other countries, I guess. That's what they
moon
say.
Resources?
They say mining.
Mining what?
I don't know.
There's nothing up there.
Yeah, you'd think. It looks like a big old husk.
Moon rocks.
I get what you're saying, but I still think the movie is very slow. I mean, it's 2 hours, but like most of it is this very slow. Like, the dramatic scenes are very drawn out.
Yes, and I think it's probably why audiences.
I'm sure that's why audiences don't like it, because this is not the movie I was expecting from the trailer.
Really? It's funny because I thought, because the first trailer we had talked about on Hypecast was like this sort of like 2001-ish sci-fi-ish looking thing, but there's like a couple shots of a rover gunfight.
Yeah,
and I was like, and I was like, what is this? I think this might be kind of ridiculous. But you're right, is that it manages to be very slow, which I like. But the action that's in it is, I think, baffling.
It's pretty crazy. I understand. I mean, I do suspect that they were asked to put some stuff in that would sort of speed up the more
right,
because it is a very it's a very interior movie. Like, it's all. I mean, it has voiceover from Brad Pitt, and he's made to seem isolated in every single shot, even when he's with people.
Right.
But I can totally see producers or a studio coming in and being like, look, man, you got to add some stuff in there. So there's like 3 action sequences in the movie that are kind of out of nowhere. But the director is also the writer. It seems like he still tried to like work those scenes in with his theme. Like, because when they get to the moon, and Brad Pitt's looking at all like the subway and the big neon cowboy sign, he makes a comment. He says, "We're world eaters."
Yeah,
which I was
that.
like, that's deep.
It's basically, I mean, it's kind of Pluto Nash, that version of the moon. It's like Vegas moon.
Yeah,
and I liked all of that.
Different tone.
Yeah, very, very different tone.
Very different tone. So it's like he tried to tie the pirates into that, where it's like we've just moved the fight to space. Like, we're still killing each other for the same things, and we can't help but destroy every planet we move to. So most of this movie is like Brad Pitt's very bleak in this movie.
But I guess what I'm getting into is like I agree with you where like the point of the movie is very good, and what they're trying to do. But then getting through the logistics, or like trying to figure out like what are the moon pirates? Why are they doing this? And the more you think about it, the more you're like, I don't fucking know what's going on with this. Why would they bring Donald Sutherland? He's so old. He's too old.
He literally has a heart attack after they get attacked by pirates.
And it's like,
and he can't go to Mars with Brad Pitt.
Fuck, like little things where it's like they're when they fight the monkeys. Again, there's monkeys. There's a monkey fight. The monkeys, all right, maybe I misunderstood. The monkeys seem to be like the guy who gets killed by the monkey or baboon or whatever.
It's a baboon, yeah.
Is he out of oxygen? He gets his nose bitten off, and he seems to be just dead. And is that from lack of oxygen?
No, I think he was mauled. Because the monkey can breathe.
Yes, that's why I was getting at. I was like, I didn't understand because the wounds didn't look fatal. There wasn't like a lot of blood.
Did you see? Well, most of his hand had been bitten off. His nose had been bitten off.
Yeah, he had no nose.
Like his face was pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
And the baboons again out of nowhere, but he tried his best to tie it with the theme because like right after that, Brad Pitt has to do his psych evaluation. He's like, and he basically tells us, "Yeah, we're the baboons. We're the
right,
brought into space sort of against our will
like
and forced to do shit."
I like that psych evaluation because he's kind of just like, "Yeah, I'm feeling all right," and I want him to be like, "Got attacked by fucking baboons in space."
On the list of things I expected to happen, watching a man get his face eaten off by a baboon.
By a zero-G baboon.
It's not what I was anticipating.
Some other little questions. Shit, I feel like
the third one is when he sneaks aboard the rocket ship and kills the entire crew.
Well, okay. That's what I wanted to get to. They get to Mars, and I really don't understand this, is that, okay, again, it really feels like they could, even if they knocked out all communications on Earth, they could, like, physically, they had, like, smartphones and shit. Like, they could record Brad Pitt's voice and bring that recording to Mars, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it just seemed weird to have to bring him, but the movie wouldn't happen. Once they get up there,
they were also anticipating sending him to Neptune afterwards.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
After he goes off script and makes just like his from the heart plea to his dad, that's when they get an answer, and
they're scared
like,
of the
"You're
answer,
too emotional."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're too emotional for this.
Right. So he talks to the woman who's also the daughter of some of the people, and this is what I didn't get: is she wants to stop Kurtz. Whatever he is in Tommy Lee Jones's
he's Kurtz,
she wants to stop him.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt wants to stop him. So do the people who are going to stop him. And she sneaks Brad Pitt on to murder everyone accidentally to do the same mission that they were going to do anyway.
It was
okay.
And that's yes, and it's because he needed to be there just for himself, for closure.
Right, but what was her motivation, the woman who helps him? Because she's just sort of like, I see they have nukes. What's going on? Are we going to die? And then it's like, no, we're going to stop him. And she's like, he's a monster. We should stop him. I'll sneak you on there to stop him, which is what the mission is anyway. And it was like, I do not understand what this woman is trying to do.
Well, I think she kind of connects with him a little bit because her parents were on the whatever it was called,
right?
the voyage to Neptune with Tommy Lee Jones, and Tommy Lee Jones killed them all.
Right, but it does make her and Brad Pitt kind of the villains.
Sort of, yeah.
He accidentally murders everybody.
He doesn't kill any of them.
Well, that's the other thing. They shoot a canister.
Yeah, they shoot an oxygen canister,
and that kills them.
Yeah, they suffocate.
Why?
Not entirely sure, but he basically when the captain shoots at him, he damages the oxygen somehow.
Right, they shoot an oxygen canister. Everybody in the room starts choking, and then everybody dies. And I couldn't.
Well, two of them died. The third lady
me.
smashed her face into the
which was pretty funny.
That was pretty bitchin', yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't for the life of me figure out what the fuck happened there.
They suffocated.
But why? Why? What suffocated them?
I guess because Brad Pitt hadn't sealed the airlock yet because he had just come into the rocket right when they were leaving the atmosphere, and when the captain fired, it
hit
blasted the oxygen, and they hadn't like repressurized yet or something. I don't know. They just suffocated.
It was there was some weird.
He
shit.
shot something. They suffocated.
And again, most of the weirdness is around these scenes that were clearly shoehorned
the action
in.
Scenes.
Like I think what it is that the writer-director wrote something that was very meaningful. Brad Pitt got involved, so it grew. And then once they were at that point, some studio got partnered in and was like, yeah, but let's add some action. And there's just a lot of, when he's under in the lake, he's like pulling on this cord to get there.
Sequence.
It was a great sequence, but again, what was that cord he was pulling on? Why was it there?
It's some kind of pipe.
I guess.
I assume they're using the water for like the engineering or like the mechanics or whatever, or whatever industrial purposes they might need water for.
Right.
Because it's clearly not potable water. So,
no.
Yeah, I didn't care too much about that stuff because the movie to me felt so abstract.
Yes, that's the thing. By the way, like I said, I enjoyed this movie. Mm-hmm. But there's just a lot of little moments like that where I'm just like, fuck, what?
Yeah, the action sequences are hilarious, but they didn't distract me because it still felt in the tone of the film, which is very bleak.
Yeah, I think this movie would have done better as an indie film, though. I think this movie is ultimately going to get hurt because of this.
Yeah, I mean it's not going to do well. It lost at the box office this weekend to the Downton Abbey movie.
Yeah. Well, because and I want to know who was responsible. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the director had those scenes in from the beginning, but someone ruined this movie, I think. In the sense of financially ruined it. Like, ruined it in a way that... Because, yeah, they probably had to pay a lot to make a CGI baboon, and then they're not going to get that money back because of the CGI baboon. Because it's like they didn't know tonally what to do, and I think the idea was they were like, look, it probably costs money to do a lot of the space stuff either way.
Yeah, I think the baboon might be the least expensive effect in there.
Right. Well, they're trying to make they're trying to make a big budget indie film.
Yeah.
The kind of film that doesn't exist anymore, that used to exist.
Right. They made a 2001, basically.
Yeah, they made a movie where the idea was to make something artistic and expensive, and you just can't do that as much anymore.
You can. You just have to sell it right.
Right. Yeah.
And I think the trailers to this film are misleading.
Oh yeah. The later ones definitely, because they really started leaning on.
Right, they really leaned on the ads. Like, this is a cerebral movie. Like this, I said, this movie is abstract to me anyway.
Yeah, it also involves spoilers. One of my favorite moments, which is Brad Pitt just frisbeeing Tommy Lee Jones into the abyss.
Yeah,
just hucking him into space.
Well, he has to let him go.
Yeah,
Tommy Lee Jones, like.
No, it was a great moment. It's just just that concept makes me giggle. And then,
man, I really liked this movie. I don't know.
I see. I didn't, as you can tell. I recognize this as a very good movie in a lot of, like, I know why you really liked it. It didn't affect me on an emotional level.
It really did for me.
Right. And I think that's very subjective to who's watching it.
Of course, yeah, of course.
I recognize it as artistic and well written, but because it didn't emotionally affect me, I was more just really excited about the bizarreness of some of the scenes.
Yeah.
And again, it's beautiful fucking movie.
It is. It's a gorgeous movie.
I also super like, and I bet people hated this, the revelation that there's nothing out there. Or at least, no, we didn't find anything. And I almost wish they explored that more. If the existential, like, crisis of, like, a race of, like, a humanity that believes they're alone. That has, like, I want to know what happens to the world after this, you know?
I don't know. Because the arc is that.
Yeah.
But Brad Pitt, it's Brad Pitt's sort of existential crisis where he's already isolated, and the discovering that Tommy Lee Jones didn't find anything, like no intelligent life as far as they can reach in the known universe. Like, for
the record, they only got as far as Neptune, so they could keep looking.
He was charting a bunch of planets from Neptune.
Yeah.
You see it in his office.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying, in this, if I were Tommy Lee Jones, I wouldn't be bummed, because I'd be like, space is fucking big. Like,
and that's kind of the point where it's like, that's kind of where he goes crazy, where he's like, no, we got to keep going, and people are like, no.
I almost want a movie just about that, about him.
For sure,
losing his mind at the idea of, like, no, I have to find life.
But Brad Pitt comes away with it. You know, that scene where Tommy Lee Jones is like, I can't I can't have failed. You can't let me fail. And he's like, you didn't. Like, you learned that it's just humanity, so we need to look inward and around ourselves. Like Brad Pitt
it's just
has
us, he says, or something like that.
Yeah, it's just us. We're all we've got. Like, he has the opposite. He doesn't have a negative reaction to it because he's already like this kind of bleak, cynical person. But like that realization that like there's nothing greater out there. We need to value what's around us and look for help and the future in each other. That like fixes him almost, or it makes him happy.
No, what it is, and I mean, I know this isn't the point. This movie is anti-space propaganda. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yes,
it's anti-space travel
Force
propaganda.
Is a fucking villain.
Yeah. Well, also just the point of it is just like, yeah, you went all the way to Neptune. You didn't find shit, you dummy, and you abandoned your family, and it was all for nothing. And I think that's the point of Brad Pitt's character, is the idea of like no connections. He believes in a greater purpose, which is discovering what's out there.
Yeah.
And you could say the same thing about religion, about fucking any career. But it's perfect for fucking space travel, which is that he thinks he's like a monk for a greater purpose there, where it's like no connections, but it's just made him lonely. And the revelation is like, what are you even doing this for? There's nothing out there. Go fuck Liv Tyler. Brad Pitt.
Go.
She had she was waiting for Ben Affleck to come back from space. Now she's waiting for you.
She's having a tough time with sending dudes to space, man.
Yeah, she was. I mean, she was in it as much as Tommy Lee Jones, which is to say, not in it.
Not very much at all.
I kind of assumed from the trailers that neither.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, you knew you weren't going to see Tommy Lee Jones until the very end of the movie.
Yeah. Again, he's Kurtz. He's Marlon Brando.
Yeah, he's Kurtz.
And he's great. He's always great.
Yeah.
Everybody's great in this.
Performances in this movie are very good.
Yeah, this movie is a shitload of talent. It really feels like it's like a shitload of talent and just one producer. It's like, throw in some monkeys, and they're like, all right,
monkeys in there.
But you're right. Is that it is?
Can we make it bleak and horrific? Sure. Just make sure the monkeys are in there.
He probably didn't say. Yeah, I do think it was probably the writer's idea to do monkeys, but it was like clearly like he had like taken a Sharpie to the script and he was like, action beat here, action beat here,
yes,
action beat here.
They're paced about 40 minutes apart each. I think.
Keep them interested, and it's I get that people would get bored,
I get
but I don't think
there was an old couple behind me that were just muttering angrily the entire film.
I don't think I honestly just don't think they could have saved that unless they wanted to change the film completely. I think okay. The one other way they could have done it, I guess. I was going to suggest because I think the problem with adding, because I was thinking of a movie like Annihilation. Because Annihilation is a very cerebral movie, and it's about a lot of stuff. But they didn't throw in action beats; they threw in gore. They threw in horror beats. You know what I mean? Yep. And I wonder if that would have been a better idea for this. Is like not do like more like gravity type sequences or something where it's like the space is hard enough. You don't need pirates.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I feel like
that sort of undermines what the movie's about, though. Like it has to be. He has to be fighting with other people.
Yeah, there would have to be. I think that if this was an attempt to fix it, it clearly didn't work.
No,
it just confused matters.
Yeah. Yeah. There's. I don't know. It's hard. I understand it's hard to sell a movie like this.
Right, and I really didn't get the impression that the action scenes were like, even if it's the same writer doing them, it really seemed like the canister thing where it was just like, I don't know what happened, and I can sort of assume certain things, but it felt like they weren't handled with the same care as the rest of the plot, you know, where like the moon rover space pirate fighting. I just was like, why would this ever be a thing on the moon going on? Like, even just the rover technology where it's like, I feel like this sort of war would be happening with like drones and like technology we have now. Like, we don't fight war. Like, it's that where like the action scenes, you're right, they sort of fit into the themes, but logistically they made the world stupid or like silly. And it was like, oh, that's a shame. Like, it didn't seem like they thought too far into them. They had some good moments. Them being jettisoned over the crater was cool.
Yeah, and then when you see the airstrike hit them and there's no sound, it's just these two blazing rockets and then a really, really bright explosion.
Yeah, that was real cool.
Soundless. It's so fucking bleak.
Stuff where, like, Brad Pitt uses piece of the ship as a shield to go through the Neptune's rings.
Neptune, yeah.
And it was like, how are you aiming? And then he gets to the ship and he almost falls off the ship. And it's like, but don't you have jets? Like, I thought that's what the jets were for, so you can slow down. Little logistical things like that, where it's like, if he ran out of jets, the tell me movie, because you didn't tell me. Like, all the action, like, was silly, I thought. But all the shit with Brad Pitt, like, was great.
Yeah.
All the emotional stuff was fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm into this movie.
Yeah, it's a really fucking weird movie, though. Like, it's...
I'm gonna cover my office with Ad Astra posters.
You're gonna be the guy.
Brad Astronaut.
Brad Astra. No, yeah, I mean, you said it at the top of this, is you understand why audiences... I don't understand why... I think the critics saw what you saw in that they saw past the silliness of the action.
Yeah. It didn't even... Like, I was so invested in the emotional aspect of it that I didn't bat an eye at the action sequences.
It's more just that, like, I didn't find the action...
I did...
You had an eye on the baboons.
I definitely made a mental note to myself at the baboon scene. I was like, oh, Dave and I are going to talk about these baboons.
Okay, so just to paint a picture of that, because there's a few things about that. So they find a research ship that's abandoned. And
it sent a distress signal.
Yeah, and they're like, we have to stop. And Brad Pitt's like, no, it's a top secret mission. Brad Pitt should have just kept going, but whatever. And then he notices
the captain tells him, like, if you can take control of the ship if you want, but you have to state your objectives, and he can't. So he's like, all right, fine.
Oh, right. He says you have to say why you're doing it. Right.
Yes.
So that's fair. And then Brad Pitt, very nicely, he notices that the other guy who's going to go is, like, terrified. And so Brad Pitt's like, all right, I'll go.
Fine, I'll go.
And he loses the captain.
Well, they split up.
They split up. Yeah.
Which seemed weird.
Yeah, I kind of forgot the captain was there, but yeah. And again, the space is handled, like, getting from A to B in space. They really just handle it as, like, getting out of your car and walking.
Yeah, they don't, and I didn't mind that. Like, they established sort of that space travel is so routine that you can do it.
Right, I didn't mind it until when he jousts with Neptune. And when he uses a nuclear explosion to jettison away, I was just like, I don't think that's how any of that works.
Sure does.
Yeah, I don't.
He rides the nuke 87 billion miles.
I don't think that's how things work in space. But all right. I think that's what it is that they had to spend so much time doing the logistics that, again, it felt like they never really thought about it. Like in the original draft, it was more internal. Like, I just watched the movie High Life with Robert Pattinson in space, and it's all very internal. And so you never have to ask these questions because it's like, yeah, they're on a space station and it's space stuff. But the moment they're just like, yeah, he's blasting through the rings of Neptune, and like, it's just like, how is any of this happening? But yeah, they get on the ship, and it was a great reveal. Which is that he walks in and he sees really the horrific. Other guy, like, just jittering, and you're not shaking. Quite sure why. And then from behind him, a fucking baboon peeks out. And in the theater, I just went, ha!
Right. On the list of things I expected to see, that was nowhere on it.
Yeah. I was like, is that an alien? No, it's a baboon.
Yeah, for half a second, because it peeks up slowly. I'm like, oh shit, are there aliens in this movie? Oh, that's a baboon.
But it was also like, for the record, the entire sequence's purpose. Okay, backing up. What is the entire sequence's purpose? It's just to kill the captain, which ultimately doesn't matter.
No.
So it is just add an action beat.
It's definitely just added in there to sort of
add
some action to it, but still in theme with the movie.
Yes, but also
so it's a scene. It's a scene that could
bonkers.
100% be cut.
Yeah, it is bonkers because the moment a baboon showed up, I was like, "Is this gonna be the movie? Is this gonna be a big plot point? These baboons? How is this like?" I was desperately trying to think like, is the rest of the film gonna be him like fighting these baboons? Is a baboon gonna get on the ship? What is the relevance of these baboons? And it isn't anything besides, like you said, Brad Pitt's sort of inner monologue.
Yeah.
Later, and it's like, all right. It was so fucking weird.
Mm-hmm. It's horrific, though.
Yeah, it was horrific. I think
especially
the main
when
point
he decompresses the baboons.
Yeah, he pops a baboon.
Yeah, he does. He blows those fuckers up.
Yeah, and again, it was just like, oh my goodness, what is this?
It's pretty wild.
It is out of control. I was
pretty wild.
Yeah, I was delighted and confused. What a weird narrative choice. Because again, like I've heard reviews say it's a combination 2001 and Apocalypse Now. I don't think it's as good as either of those movies because they're classics. It's clearly inspired by both of those movies, I think.
Oh yeah.
And in Apocalypse Now, it's someone's descent into madness, and so there are moments in Apocalypse Now where crazy shit happens that are just sort of like. More related to war, and that's why I was saying like maybe this needed to be more like Gravity with its action, where it's just like the logistics of space are horrific,
right? But then that's not what the movie's about, though.
I know
like it would have made more logical sense, but it would almost be distracting because the point is not man versus space; it's man versus his own nature.
Right, but you could do that in like the crew's going nuts, or I don't know. I think there's a better way to do it than baboon attack.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying is it doesn't have to be man versus space necessarily, but I think what I'm saying is the problems need to be more grounded, like Gravity's problems were grounded, where it's just like, shit, how do we deal with this stuff? And maybe it just needed to be more conflicts between people. There's not much personality in the characters either. Like everybody's very, very depressed in this movie.
Well, everyone he comes into contact with is killed.
Yes,
except for Liv Tyler and Ruth Negga, who is the Mars base administrator.
Right. Yeah. But I'm sure
everyone
later.
else he interacts with dies.
Yeah. Again, he's a real problem. Like the end where he's at the cafe, I was like, shouldn't that be a jail?
Should he be in prison?
Yeah, you commandeered a rocket ship. That is a high crime, right? Like that's an impressive thing to do. But you murdered everybody. Like
he didn't kill any of them.
Yeah, but his actions. He even says it.
You could call that
like,
I think
it's
you can get him for manslaughter. You can get him for by way of action. His actions set in motion the things that led to their deaths. But.
He snuck into a ship, fought them. That one woman who slammed in the side, like they're all trying to, because the idea is that, like he says, like I'm not. Like they try to juggle it, have it both ways, because he's saying like I'm not fighting you, but then he does sort of fight back, like he struggles.
Yeah, he
and
struggles because the guy's
guns.
trying to stab him.
Right? Yeah, they do not take it well, do they?
Well, they get orders to kill him.
Right. Just I don't know. It's space is wild in this movie.
Yeah, the space comm is hilarious in this movie.
He sneaks onto a rocket, which I don't think that's possible either.
No, probably not. But I mean, it's like I said, I took so much of this movie as abstract, so it's like, well, all right.
Yeah,
like I wasn't really worried about the logistics too much.
Right. No, I get that.
That's not really what the movie is about.
No, but it's still sort of. I think a better version of this movie is one that can do both, because movies can do both. You know.
Yeah, you can do both. Yeah, for sure. It's just
where
hard.
movies can be about things and not like, and it's like almost it's not abstract enough because they're trying to show you the logistics. Like they're like it's not the
really.
Fountain where it's like he's in a bubble.
It's definitely
in space.
not the Fountain.
Yeah, it's like no, these spaceships are trying to function. They show like how he eats when he's on stasis, and like they're trying to show you the sci-fi aspects, but there's not enough of that. or that it hasn't been as thought through. Well, I'm saying I get what you're saying, but I think most audiences are going to be kind of mixed up because I don't think people are going to interpret this movie as abstractly as you are.
Yeah.
I think they're thinking, like you said, it's advertised as like space adventure.
Yeah. And there's elements of that in it.
Yeah.
It's got some adventure. There's some mystery elements to it. There's a couple of like you mentioned earlier that they could have maybe tried some horror reveals like in Annihilation. There are a few.
Technically the baboon is a horror reveal. It just was one that made me laugh.
And when he gets onto Project Lima and he sees all the dead people that Tommy Lee Jones killed, there's the first person he sees is a person with a bag over their head.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones has been busy.
Yeah. And there's blood smeared on the door in one of the old musicals that he mentioned Tommy Lee Jones likes to watch.
Right, yeah.
It's like, this guy, this man's cheese has slid off his cracker.
Yep. God, he's just hurtling through space.
Oh, man.
Just frisbeeing.
Tommy Lee Jones pinwheeling outside of the solar system.
Yep.
Just forever.
Yep. Just, he's going to be there forever.
Until just be forever flying through space.
I wish the last shot of this movie was like really like cartoony looking aliens in their saucer and just Tommy Lee Jones slams into their windshield.
Bouncing off the windshield.
He used to have giant windshield wipers for some reason.
Yeah, big old windshield wipers for errant Tommy Lee Joneses.
Yeah. This is something. Yeah, I don't hate this movie. I'm probably going to watch it again. It's like, but what it was like, for example, I was talking to my parents before recording, and they're going to see the movie, and they're like, "Are we going to like it?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, I don't know if people like are going to like this or not because it does seem very subjective. Like, it clearly spoke to you in a way it didn't speak to me. But while I was watching it, I didn't think it was a bad movie. I thought it was a very entertaining movie. And I understood the message. Like, I wasn't like the point of the movie was clear, which is it would have been a garbage movie if it was like, I don't know what they're trying to tell me.
I don't know what this movie's trying to say.
Yeah, it was more just that it's like it's a good message. It's well done in that regard. It's just like fucking space pirates. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Space pirates.
It's real weird. Who were they? What was their life? I want to know their life.
Their little space pirate base. They have a little space pirate ship.
Yeah. Oh my God. They should have had
Jolly Roger, only with a skull wearing an astronaut's helmet.
Yeah, a little eye patch just on the helmet.
Yeah, just draw them on the helmet.
Yeah. Space pirates.
Little parrot with also has a helmet on.
I really like what. Like, all right. If they're going after resources, what resources are they specifically going after by shooting at Donald Sutherland and his friends? Like, they have the same rovers. What are they doing? Maybe they're kidnapping. They want to kidnap them, but they're just trying to murder them.
Yeah, I don't know.
They just seem angry.
They just said it's a conflict zone. There's no clear borders drawn on the moon, so there's just constant fighting unless you stay in the safe zones.
I can't. I refuse to believe that that's what we would have to. If we, I know again, that's the point. That's the point. Is that, and it's actually similar to something I was writing, which is the idea that we go to space. We explore. We used to explore new continents, and then we go to space, and in every occasion, we're just dickheads throughout.
Yeah.
That's what I guess James Cameron's Avatar is also about. Which is that, we're a real problem.
Like he says in this movie, we're world eaters.
Yeah, we're not great.
No,
we're real shits. And we go to the moon and we're like, let's have gunfights.
Yeah, let's make gunfights in a subway.
Yeah, the subway's probably the worst part of that.
The big neon cowboy.
Yeah, is that a moon casino? I hope it's a moon casino.
I could barely read the sign. It said hotel.
Okay.
But if it's a big neon cowboy and I'm assuming there's space, there's no laws. You can gamble in space. Who gives a shit?
I'm going to believe that this is in the Pluto Nash universe.
Okay.
Are there aliens in Pluto Nash?
Yes.
Really?
I think so.
There's robots and clones.
There's a robot and a clone. Was there not an alien in Pluto Nash?
If there wasn't an alien, then I think this can work, right?
Yeah.
Because it would be... Like, imagine if we realized, or if we at least believed, okay, there's no way we're going to see aliens anymore. Like, they're not out there. We can't find them. We just don't have the fucking technology. Like, yeah, incrementally, we might be able to get further and further out. But, like... Not in our lifetime. Like, if everybody accepted that within their own lifetime, we're just not going to see aliens, but we have this like crazy technology, I think we would say Moon Casino, right? Like, I think
Probably.
it would just be like, fuck it, let's like, if we have the technology, if we're not going to find aliens, let's have zero-G laser tag, you know? What else are we going to do with space?
I mean, I don't know. Probably send Tommy Lee Jones out there
to Neptune.
Yeah, send Tommy Lee Jones to Neptune,
and then blow him up, or I mean, blow his ship up. I guess.
Blow his ship. I mean,
space.
I'm assuming that blast also caught Tommy Lee Jones and sent him just rocketing.
Oh no! Just in a street, as fast as fucking possible, faster than sound.
Tommy Lee Jones breaking the sound barrier, hurtling through space, just like frowning as hard as he can.
Holy shit! Just some aliens on an asteroid, and you just see him go.
Tommy Lee Jones punches through the hull of some flying saucer. Just doesn't even slow down, goes straight through the ship.
Okay, what if he goes so fast he breaks? He goes like, all right, I want him to go through a black hole, a wormhole, back in time and kill the dinosaurs with his body.
Right, his body comes screaming out of the heavens and slams into the earth. And kills the dinosaurs.
Oh, that's a film. Oh, that's great. That's great.
Let's make that movie.
Yeah, let's make that movie.
Oh,
fuck.
Shit.
I want that so badly.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Shit.
I'm just picturing him like just post like the Rocketeer, just flying.
Yes, yeah. It's like a missile,
like faster than light.
Yeah.
just a torpedo.
Yep.
A grizzled old man torpedo.
That's amazing.
Screaming through the stars.
Yeah. I mean, at least that at least happened, I believe.
Oh, that absolutely happened.
Yeah, he was jettisoned very fast.
Yeah, he definitely got catapulted through the Stellarverse.
Yeah, if he had accidentally like tossed him in the same direction he was going, he might be able to look out the window and just see him the whole time, just alongside. Just like occasionally hitting the side of the spaceship. Oh, good times. Fuck. What a great image. Is this the second time Tommy Lee Jones has perished in space?
Specifically being left behind in space, yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. Good for him. Let's get more movies about Tommy Lee Jones's corpse in space. We gotta get
one or two more of those in there.
Yeah.
While we still got him.
Yeah. Just him being jettisoned into space like he's fucking like he's like he's Spock, like
just spinning through space.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Do you do you have any more final thoughts on this movie? Because like this clearly this meant more to you, this movie, than me.
Yeah, I really
so I don't want to miss anything.
No final thoughts. I mean, I don't know. I think this movie could be one that people still watch in like 20 years. It just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do recommend it to people, but I can't say if people will like it or not.
Yeah.
I would say ignore the trailers. And maybe I could. I could see people. I could see people having a newfound appreciation for this movie. That's what I was actually thinking that at the time, because while I was watching it, I was like, "This is fucking weird." But then I was thinking back, I love 2001. I love Apocalypse Now. I love, there's a lot of movies I love. Eyes Wide Shut comes to mind, where it's like, what the fuck? There's a lot of what the fuck moments in these movies that can be classics, where it's stuff that audiences didn't necessarily like at the time, but then once you get away from it and look back, you're like, well, okay, I get it. That's actually really good, and that it's, there's something I was missing, and maybe something we'll appreciate later. But right now, it was this is really good, but also, what the fuck is that? What the hell is happening?
Yeah.
That is so weird. And but I was kind of aware of that idea of 20 years from now, maybe it'll be something where it's its Wikipedia page will be the movie was not well received despite being a classic,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Because it is
I think it's really good.
Yeah, it does have some really good shit in it. It's just again, like you said, I get it. I get why people are what the fuck?
It was I mean, it surprised me. This was not the movie I was expecting.
You're right. Really can't stress enough how little I was expecting a baboon attack. Brad Pitt
wow,
in
that was
space.
the furthest. It was so far from my mind that the first thing I thought was, is that an alien?
Yeah. Well, that would have made more sense.
Right, yeah.
What Well, no, it
actually
would have made more expensive.
That'd have been a hard right turn for this movie.
You know what I mean? Where it made more expensive in terms of things that you expect to find in space.
Right,
I would expect an alien before I'd expect an angry baboon.
Yeah, just a furious baboon.
Yeah. Oh, that baboon is not being in space.
Fucking mad.
Yeah, don't bring baboons into space.
No.
Why would we ever do? I mean, we did it at first, but then we killed them all.
Right,
you
send them up there by themselves, though.
Yeah. But don't do that, because the astronauts are definitely gonna fuck them after a certain amount, right?
And after a while, yeah.
Yeah, you get bored and lonely. It's just there's no good. It's no way it doesn't end with either.
There's no upside.
No, because it ends in tragedy. Mm-hmm. It either a person is ejected into space or a baboon is ejected into space,
or they're just rapidly decompressed so they explode.
Yes. Whoa, Jesus!
He explodes. That monkey.
He explodes.
That monkey bursts.
Yeah, he bursts like one of Pennywise's blood-filled balloons. Just pop.
Yep.
It's a hell of a thing.
Splat.
Yeah. This fucking movie.
Yeah, definitely wild.
Definitely see this movie. Just, I guess it is slow. It was, I don't know. It wasn't.
It is.
I guess I didn't find it slow because I did find it interesting.
No, it's weird
and
slow, but in the good way.
Right. It's hard to call a movie slow that also has a baboon attack.
Right, but
and moon pirates, And I get it, where it's just in between those things. But you could argue Interstellar's slow too, because they do a lot of stopping for story stuff. Mm-hmm. It's just story. It's I didn't need this movie to be. I don't know. I don't think anybody, even seeing the trailer, should expect this movie to be 2 hours of moon pirate fights.
No.
But yeah, it's a little more. It's more cerebral. I think. I haven't read any of the reviews. I think ultimately what probably pissed off the audience is the lack of aliens. I think most stories like this end with aliens. Mm-hmm. Even movies without aliens end with aliens. Mission to Mars. It's just that wasn't about aliens, and then suddenly aliens are there. And whenever we go to space, like Interstellar, where we love that shit. We want to. I think
aliens in Interstellar.
Well, it's us, but it's us from the fucking future or whatever. But you know what I mean, where there's always this element of a reveal of there's some cool sci-fi crazy shit, and this I think are going to bum people out because it's just no, none of that, no space baby, no it's working towards the revelation that there's nothing but ourselves, and that's a great message. But I think a lot of people are hoping to go see some crazy revelation at the end. Like
Maybe,
I don't know. I think that's what's going to piss people off more than anything else.
Well, I think people were getting more of a Gravity the Martian vibe from the trailer.
Oh, okay.
And it is not those movies.
See, I did not get that vibe off the trailer because of the space pirate shooting. Because the moment I saw that, I was like, oh, that's dumb. Like, that's a dumb thing in this movie. I was expecting more like... I guess I was technically expecting more of an action film, but I wasn't expecting like that. I guess Gravity and Martian are like that fake grounded sci-fi where you're like, this feels like it could happen. And so the moment I knew there was a rover gunfight, I was like, I don't think this is going to be grounded sci-fi. And I still don't think it was. I think
not really.
It's not. It doesn't really feel like sci-fi to me. And I know it technically is, but it's not about that.
Not really. It's more like a philosophical.
Yeah, it's a space drama.
Yeah, it's super space drama,
it's
bro.
It's a space drama with the occasional action sequence.
The occasional raging baboon.
Yeah. Raging baboon and
fucking
at least...
just furious baboon.
Really, I would have loved the baboon to like sneak aboard. Like I wanted like when Gollum at the third Lord of the Rings where he like peeks over Sam's shoulder and you're like, oh shit, Gollum's there. I wanted when he's talking to Tommy Lee Jones, like the baboon to have been like clung to his back the whole time.
Just slides in there.
And Tommy Lee Jones has to fight the baboon.
Yeah.
And then maybe they both jettison into space together.
Yep, he and the baboons spiral off towards Neptune, biting and clawing at each other.
Yeah, I would have watched that.
Tommy Lee Jones bites.
Oh, he's a biter for sure.
He's for sure he's a biter. Look at him. Look at that
thumbs
face.
in the eyes, biter. You don't want to fight Tommy Lee Jones.
No.
No. It's yeah.
I think that's a sode.
Yeah, I think that's a sode.
Gonna be done? Let's be done.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Yeah. You can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have a bunch of tiers. We got a couple exclusive podcasts, such as Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder's A Maniac.
Yep.
We got a special tier where you watch movies with us. We have tiers where you can request your own episodes of We Just Watched. Lots of options there, you guys. So check it out.
We also got a store, tpublic.com/stores/gamefullyunemployed. We can check out some shirts and stickers and a poster and stuff.
Lots of stuff.
A whole lot of stuff.
I feel like we need a shirt of Tommy Lee Jones just hurtling through space now.
The Rocketeer, only it's Tommy Lee Jones.
Only Tommy Lee Jones. Yeah. Oh, man.
That logo, just that's going to happen.
But Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, I'm going to tell one of the artists we work with right now.
I want it.
Take the Rocketeer logo and replace the Rocketeer with Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm looking up the Rocketeer. I just want to see it in my mind's eye. The one where he's like blasting forward. There's a few logos.
Correct. The one where he's blasting forward.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones with just like the wrinkles on his face just being pushed back. Oh, that would be so
Arms
good.
straight at his side.
Yep.
Head pointed upward toward the heavens.
Yeah. Oh, man.
We're making that shirt.
That's
happening. That is happening. And instead of the Rocketeer, it says Tommy Lee Jones, but in the same
Tommy
font.
Lee Jones, same font. And Tommy Jones blasting through space with just a pissed off expression. Just coming for those dinosaurs. Fuck yeah.
Teach those dinosaurs for ruling the earth.